Hi everyone! Today Josten, our Esterville, Iowa terminal manager, is going to show you how to properly conduct a pre-trip and how to operate a Thermo King tri-pack APU. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to our channel, like this video, and turn on our post notifications.
So what we have here are the controls for your Thermo King tri-pack APU. This button all the way on the left is your power button. It's also your mode selector. You have three options. You have air conditioning, fan only, or you have bunk heat. This middle knob is your temperature selector. All the way to the left in the blue is cold, all the way to the red on the right side is hot. It goes anywhere from 60 to 90 degrees Fahrenheit. This button all the way on the right is your fan selector. This is a 3-speed fan. In order to turn the unit on, you press and hold the power button for 1 second. That will put this unit in standby mode. What this standby mode does is this allows the engine to kick on the APU unit to charge your batteries once they get down to 12.8 volts. If they get below that, it'll charge your battery, so it's a good time to do that when you're on home time or a 10-hour break. In order to turn your bunk heat on, you turn your selector knob all the way to the right to the heat, and you adjust your temperature to where you want it. This light is going to flash green. Once it goes solid green, your bunk heat is going to kick on and you'll feel the heat down below. This fan here is for the bunk fan. If you're using your bunk heater, do not turn this fan on. The bunk heater has its own built-in fan. If you turn this on, what that does is it circulates air from underneath the cab, so you'd be blowing cold air around instead of hot air. In order to turn this unit off, turn the temperature selector all the way to cold, and you wait until the temperature or the fan is blowing cold air out the bottom. Once it's blowing cold air, press and hold the power button. That turns your bunk heater off. And then please put it back in standby mode. To operate the air conditioner, it's much the same. You turn your selector to the air conditioning, adjust your temperature to where you want it, and it'll kick on automatically. To turn it off, press and hold the power button, which turns the unit off, and then please put it in standby mode. Okay, so here we have the APU controls in our Kenworth. You notice they're the exact same controls as what we have in our Freightliner. As far as the other buttons and knobs in here that you see, they're a little bit different than the Freightliner. We have our air conditioning and heating controls for when the truck is driving down the road. We have a lock button, so we could press that. If you forget to lock it when you go to bed, you could press that and lock your doors at night. And then this button here shuts off your bunk lights and turns them back on. That's pretty much all the controls for inside the sleeper of our trucks. So this is our Thermo King tri-pack APU unit. You want to make sure you do a pre-trip on this every day. Now, some things to remember about this thing is it gets its fuel, its coolant, and its battery power from the truck itself. So we want to make sure that we check everything, because if you spring a leak on, say, your water pump on this, you'll lose all the coolant to your truck as well and won't be able to drive down the road. So in order to do this, what you want to do is you want to press these buttons here and open up those little knobs, and then pull on this door and open it up. From there, we want to look inside. If you look all the way on the right side of our box there, we have an on-off switch. One of the most common faults is that someone has gone through here and turned that switch off. So you make sure that switch is in the on position. In the center here, we have our dipstick. That's where you want to check your oil. If you need to add your oil, that would be right here. Now this uses the exact same oil that you have in the jugs in the side box of your truck. Now, when you're doing your pre-trip inspection, you want to make sure that you're checking your belts and you're also checking for any leaks. Once you're done with your pre-trip inside the unit there, you close the door and snap those latches back into place. Then I always check to make sure we're still properly mounted, everything is tight there. And one thing that most people miss on a pre-trip on their APU unit is their exhaust. If you look right down here in between the cabinet here and our fender, you have your exhaust for this. You want to make sure that's firmly in place as well. If you have any questions, don't forget to reach out to your safety department or your maintenance department and we'll be glad to help you. One other thing I should probably note is if you look in the permit book of your truck, we have step-by-step instructions on how to operate this thing as well.